Hello, my name's David Dawson. I'm Director of the Wiltshire Museum here in Devizes. I'm just going to give you an introduction to the story of Stonehenge. The story starts in about 3000 BC with the creation of a circular bank and ditch and then putting blue stones around the outside. The stones that were set up come from Wales, which is something like 120 miles from us here in Wiltshire. Those stones came from two different quarries in the Preseli Mountains and must have been brought here by hand about 3000 BC. One of the remarkable things is we know that they formed part of another monument before they were put up in their current positions. Now, that could have been at Stonehenge. We know there's another monument close by that they may have come from, or it is even possible that they came all the way from Wales. We don't know how they were brought here. There is no evidence, so they may have come by boat, perhaps up the Bristol Channel, or they may have been carried all the way, all the 120 miles. Those stones are about the size of people, and they weigh about 3 or 4 tons, so it's still a huge amount of effort. After about 500 years, they brought new sarsen stones to the site. These are the ones that you think of as being Stonehenge, the uprights with flat lintels on top. Those are brought at about 2500 BC and are made of a stone called sarsen, which comes from the North Wessex Downs, about 25 miles from where Stonehenge is today. The largest of those stones weighs over 30 tons, but together they represent a huge amount of time and effort. And within 100 years, they had built the monument as we see it today, with a circle around the outside, with flat lintels on, and a horseshoe of 5 stones, what are called trilithons, which are 2 upright stones with a flat lintel on the top. This is lined up with the winter solstice, so that as you approach Stonehenge up the ceremonial avenue that leads up to it, at midwinter the sun would set in a blaze of red behind the stones. People built Stonehenge using readily available tools and equipment, using wood for rollers and ropes made of materials like nettles just woven together. And it's very straightforward, and you can see in other parts of the world how people were able to move stones that are larger than those at Stonehenge, sort of 50 and 60 tons, with the technology they had at the time in the Neolithic. Some of the most interesting evidence that's been uncovered over the last few years has been the excavations at Durrington Walls. We know this was a settlement, a village, where people lived who had come from all over Britain. They brought with them animals that had been slaughtered for feasts, and we know that the animals grew up in places like Wales and Scotland, and the evidence is left behind in their teeth. Mike Parker Pearson has suggested that Durrington Walls is a place of the living and that Stonehenge is a place of the dead. We know that Stonehenge is Europe's largest Neolithic cemetery, with over 150 people who were cremated and then their remains buried in and around the bluestones around the outside of the henge. After 2500 BC, there's a big change, and the focus changes from the monument to people, and particularly important people who, when they die, are buried in the landscape around Stonehenge. The most important is the burial at Bush Barrow, which is just after 2000 BC. He is buried with a gold lozenge, which has geometric decoration laid out to a tolerance of 0.5 millimetre. But he also has a dagger, which is decorated with gold studs that are about the same thickness as a human hair. 140,000 of those are laid out. But there are also women who were really important at the time, and there are objects in the exhibition from one burial. Now, she has the most amazing set of amber and gold earrings, and amber comes from the Baltic, over 1,000 miles from Wiltshire. But also, there's a fragment of bone that's been wrapped in gold. Now, at the time, they were doing an operation called trepanning, where they take a piece of flint and saw a hole in the skull. This could have been done as a result of a skull injury, or was also done to let evil spirits escape. And we know that many survived this operation. Now, we don't know for sure, but we think that could be a piece of her own skull, encased in gold, so that she could be buried complete. Now, Stonehenge was in use until 1500 BC, when it just seems to have gone out of use. It was always treated afterwards as a very special place, and of course today is an international icon. I hope you enjoy the exhibition.